Willie's appeal was a smile that broke racing's traditional mould. He was a favourite with royalty, but even more so with the man in the street.
Len Rush is trainer of the Queen's Flight. Which sport are we talking about?
Pigeon racing.
Well done.
Yes.
Pigeon racing.
I'm a pigeon.
Oh, yes. Actually, you are a pigeon racing fan, aren't you?
He rides them.
Well, Willie, of course, one of the greatest flat jockeys of all time.
That's it. Bottle tank. Crash. Stand up, Willie, stand up.
That's good. I hear there's gold in them there hills.
I said you'd never get me. And I got this hat on just to prove my head's not getting too big. Not as sweet as I was expecting.
Yeah.
Very nice. I think I'll have some more.
See, he's making up for all those years of denial.
Left 4.8. Come on, Willie. Yes.
Last month he linked up with Britain's most popular horse, the Great Desert Orchid. But up in Yorkshire 35 years ago, he was anything but an overnight success.
No, you couldn't say that. No, I started very slowly. Climbed the ladder one rung at a time. I rode my first winner in '62, and the following year, which was another bit of a struggle, was only 5 winners. So, and then the year after that, the third year, I rode 16 winners. So it was a slow beginnings, but I was learning the trade. That's the best way to do it, you know, slowly.
And it took a long time for you to ride your first Derby winner. You were 36, but it was a pretty special one.
Oh, Troy, the 200th Derby, yes. He was a great horse on the day, you know, Troy. Very powerful horse, strong, didn't show much emotion. I remember standing on the side of the stalls and wiping his neck, and it was bone dry, you know. All the others all sweating, all revved up, and there's this Troy, you know. Oh, I'm going to do this gallop again, have I? And we came into the straight, down into Tattenham 14th, and I pulled him to the outside, and he just flew down the outside. I think they went a bit fast that year, and he won by 7 lengths. Great day, my first Derby.
They're coming down the furlong pole. It's West being pressed by Troy, who takes it up now. Willie Carson storms to the front on Troy now, and Willie's striding away now to win the Derby. Troy's going to win the Derby easily. Dickens Hill will be second as they come to the line. Troy has won the 200th Derby. Dickens Hill is second.
It was the first of 4 Derby wins and sealed his status as a classic jockey. The next year was his best ever. 3 of the first 4 classics, and then the King George on Elamanamoo, recently bought by Lord Weinstock for a 7-figure sum.
And we all thought, ooh, that's a lot of money for a horse. Anyway, it was a great buy. It was well spotted for Simon. And he actually was unbeaten when he was at 4. Terrific little horse. Small little horse, great character. And it was a great day when he won the King George that day.
Willie Carson and Lester Piggott as they race into the closing stages. It's Lester on the near side, Willie Carson on the far side, Elamanamoo and Mrs. Benny. Elamanamoo's just stretching clear now as they come to the line to win it. Elamanamoo's won it from Mrs. Benny's second.
But it took you another 9 years to ride your next Derby winner, which was Nashwan, and once again he was a pretty special one.
Nashwan was very special. He won the Derby. I thought the Derby that year was a little bit weak. He only had the one horse to beat, Carcothis, if I can pronounce it properly. But the big day actually was when he won the 2,000 guineas. First time out, he hadn't had a race. He'd only had the 2 races as a 2-year-old, which he won both. And we had this marvellous gallop along what we call the trial ground at West Ilsley. And I knew then that they all had me to beat, and I had a hell of a chance of winning the 2,000 guineas. And when he did so, it was a marvellous and very emotional win, because that was at the time when the year before, I was going to hang my boots up, and the Major was getting ousted out of West Ilsley. The lease wasn't going to be renewed, which I thought was a bad decision. So it was very, very emotional.
And the 16-1 after that gallop that morning didn't last very long, did it?
Well, it was actually 33s, Julian. You missed out.
By the time of the King George, he was probably just past his best.
Yes. Well, he actually did what no other horse has ever done. Well, this century, anyway. Winning the 4. He's only ran the 4 times and won the 4 Group 1s. And I always thought that Nashwan didn't quite get the mile and a half. That they'll all think we've got the pacemaker. We had a pacemaker of Tom Jones's in there. That it would be in there for speed, you see, and they all thought that. And we discussed this, that we would go slow and make it easier for Nashwan, because we thought Nashwan would have more speed than any other horse in the race. So we did that and we got away with it.
Nashwan has stored into the lead now from Kakarithes, who's coming there to challenge him. It's Nashwan and Kakarithes now, the big 2-3-year-olds, as they race towards the line. Nashwan on the far side, Kakarithes on the near side. As they race to the line, it's Nashwan and Kakarithes, and Nashwan has won it. Nashwan has won it from Kakarithes, top class, it's third.
Troy and Nashwan must have been the best middle distance covers you rode. What about middle distance fillies?
Well, we got Salsabill and Sun Princess. Sun Princess undoubtedly was the best filly, but she was such a wayward character. Everything we did with her was an argument. You know, she pulled very hard. She never listened to what you were saying to her. So I'd have to go possibly for Salsabill, because she did something that no horse had done for 90 years, which was winning the Irish Derby. And she won that. It was the easiest classic winner I've ever ridden. Everything was so easy. Everything just happened. I didn't have to do any work. I came to the furlong pole and just clocked to her and off she went.
Salsabill, who comes to challenge Deploy now. The filly is going to win the Derby. Salsabill is striding away from Deploy. Willie Carson maintains his tremendous form. Salsabill has won the Derby. Deploy is second.
As you got older, you became more tactically shrewd, and of course the win on Bari and the Queen Elizabeth II Stakes, when you raced round the outside under the trees, well, that was a bit special. That must have given you a lot of pleasure.
Yeah, that gave me a lot of pleasure. You know, it's no good getting old if you don't get wise, you know, Julian. But the little story about that was that when I went into the paddock, I said to Sheikh Hamdan, I don't think we can beat this filly, sir. And of course, big long face, oh dear. But I've got a plan where we can. And I gave him the plan, and silence for about 25 seconds. Nobody said a word. I thought, oh dear, I've said something, oh dear. And Ollie Hamdan said, do it, do it. So we did it, and it all worked.
They're past the half-mile marker, and Willie Carson, riding this tactical race on the wide outside on Bari, is in front by about 2 lengths as he makes the turn. From Wychwood Pearl, his big rival, in second, then Mr. Martini and Bishop of Cashel. Then making it to the ground from the rear is Soviet Line coming down to the 2-furlong pole. And it's Bari, the leader, from Ridgewood Pearl. Bari on the far rail, Ridgewood Pearl on the near side. Soviet Line is improving all the time towards the stand side. Bari is quickening over on the far side, and the mare is now under pressure, Ridgewood, and Bari has got up. Bari has got her. He's striding away now. He's going to win the Queen Elizabeth II Stakes, and he's going to win it very easily. Bari has won it at the line. Bari is the winner. Second is Ridgewood Pearl.
It was a brave thing to do. I weighed in, and just as I got in the ascot there, all the jocks were all at the door, all giving me the Alibaba thing. We are not worthy. and ever since then, somebody wrote under my where I get changed, God. And ever since then, I've had no luck. I've had no luck ever since that day, I don't think.
What was the very best horse that you ever rode?
Well, the very best. The horse that excited me the most, and I think he was... Well, I think he was the fastest horse that's ever been, is Dejour. So I think I'd pick him.
But Dejour is storming clear. This is a sensational performance. Dejour going 4-5 lengths clear on the ground that he doesn't really like. Here comes the Irish Challenger Royal Academy, closing the gap a little bit. But Willie Carson's cruising home on Dejour. Dejour, a real champion sprinter. Royal Academy pursues him home, but Dejour wins it at the line. Royal Academy is second. I always felt that one of your biggest disappointments in racing was when you were still awaiting your first Derby winner, when Hot Grove got beaten by the Minstrel in the Derby.
Well, I don't look at it that way. I wasn't a disappointment. The horse won a great race. The only disappointment was that I had to keep reading about how good Lester Pickett was on the best horse. And he only beat me a neck, you know, and he only just got me the last 20 yards.
100 yards to run of the Derby. The Minstrel coming to challenge Hot Grove. And it's Lester Pickett and Willie Carson. The Minstrel on the near side, Hot Grove on the north side. And the Minstrel wins it from Hot Grove, notching from his third.
The night before a big race, I'd always be sort of waking up and thinking, that bloody long man again. Whack, whack, whack. You could hear him coming, you know, whack, whack, whack. He was a very strong man on a horse, very strong. Fantastic jockey.
Nowadays, Willie prospers as a commercial breeder. He has up to a dozen mares and foals at his Minster stud in Gloucestershire. In the spring, there are new foals to appraise. She's inquisitive, eh?
Oh, she is, yeah, she's some character, she is, yeah.
9 years ago, he became the first jockey to breed a classic winner, Minster Sun.
It's Willie Carson, who's stormed into the front now, into the lead as they race up towards the line. And it's Minster Sun from Asartis. As they come to the line, Minster Sun from Asartis.
Very lucky that he turned out to be such a good horse. He was champion 3-year-old colt of his, or middle distance horse of the year. He was only ever beaten in the Derby, and that's when he came up with his problem, and which was a little bit of a back or stifle or something problem he got. He injured himself in the race, and he gave me such a thrill when he won the St. Leger.
The accident at Newbury, I mean, did it finish your career, or do you think you'd have finished this year anyway?
Oh, it's debatable. I think if I'd gone through the season, I might have called it a day at the back of last year. I was thinking of doing so, but because of the accident, I wanted to come back and ride again, as I didn't want to go out because of an accident. Very unfortunate that. I don't want to say it caused my retirement, no, but it was instrumental. I think it'd be better on faster ground. We've had 2 horses before by Morstan, Valentinian and More Light, and both those horses loved the top of the ground. And I was quite of the opinion that this horse would like the top of the ground as well. Prove me wrong today.
This horse seems to have improved a terrific amount since his first run.
Ah, well, in your eyes maybe, but not in mine, because I thought he'd win the first time out, even though Dunbeath beat me. That day I was sure he would win, but unfortunately, coming out of the boxes or sometime he done his back, he pulled a muscle and finished the race lame.
What, Morecon did?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, in fact, must have been held up after that.
Well, he never ran again, and that was last year.
Oh, last year?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I thought you meant, but this year, I mean, there didn't seem any excuses at Newmarket.
Well, there wasn't. He didn't go fast enough. Except that I don't think we had a winner by then. And horses hadn't been striking form very well. So I think that was the excuse, really, that our stable wasn't in form.
Well, the big question now is, I mean, does this confuse you, or does it give you added confidence for Geraghtus?
Well, I shall sleep on it and see what comes out tomorrow morning.
Are you saying there's a possibility that you might ride this horse in place of Geraghtus?
I'm saying nothing.
Well, that's very unusual. But how would you actually analyse this performance?
Very good, but whether I'd think it's Derby form, I don't really know. It might well be. As I said, the horse, I think, is better on top of the ground, you know, faster ground. And I knew that he had a turn of foot, so I was quite happy to be in front. I knew he'd sprint. And I made him, when we come to I got in the middle of the course at the junction there where the other course comes in, I asked him to quicken up from there.
Well, he won this race by 4 lengths on Troy. This one's won by 6.
Oh, well, I don't think Troy could have won any further that day, so you never know.
Willie?
Nice headache, isn't it?
Nice one to have. Willie Carson. Congratulations, and could you perhaps explain how you won that race?
I don't know if you fancied the other horse. Well, Dick's always thought the world of this horse. He always said he would be the best, but I could never see it. And last time was the first time he ever showed me anything. I virtually pulled him up at Newmarket on the firm ground, and he was 30 lengths behind the leaders. and I got beat 6 lengths, and he was flying at the finish. Possibly my fault, because I was feeling that he didn't like the ground, and I was being easy on him, and he virtually pulled him up.
So you used different tactics today?
Yeah, a small field, make the weight tell, go a nice pace, which I did, and I knew the horse wouldn't run free in front.
Well, we can look at it again from 2.5 furlongs out, and this was where, well, you sort of half kicked.
Yeah, well, JC looks going to win there, doesn't he?
Certainly did.
He's going very well.
Yeah.
But my fella, you see, he's still a bit green. He doesn't know what it's all about. It's the first time he's ever been in front in a race.
Yeah.
There's no share guards today.
Yeah. But at this point, I mean, Leicester's has cruised up to you.
Oh, he's still going to beat me, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. Until...
But my fella, he's started to fight, you know, he's quickened up, you know, he's scooted.
And that's where he's gone, that's where you've gone. That's where you won the race.
Yeah, well,
But he's quickened again for you.
Yes, well, he's had that reminder that really made him quicken, didn't it?
Yeah.
He's quite a good horse.
Yeah. Well, he's a good horse today, anyway, that's for sure.
Keep's been running in the best company and just been beaten, so, you know, puts him up with the second best, as it were. With Shergar being the best.
You said the Major thought that this was his best. You mean his best 3-year-old this year?
Well, he thought this would be the Derby horse.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season. And of course things haven't gone quite right this year, with the virus and what have you.
And do you think this is his distance, 1.25 miles?
It was 1.5 miles.
1.5 miles. Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
they keep on changing the distance of these races at Goodwood, you know.
You would get it right. It's a 1.5 mile race, and I think he'd stay 1.6 miles.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any plans for him, but I should imagine he would be another Ledger horse.
Yeah. Well, now, what about the Extel Stakes? Because, as I say, you're one in...
Now we've had a bad one. How did you explain it?
I cannot.
When did you begin to feel it was going to be a bad day?
Oh, about half filling up the straight. I did ask him just to get rid of Pat, and he couldn't. And so I had to leave him alone. I thought, well, he'll pick up in a minute. He never did. In fact, the horse is lobbed throughout the whole race. I was very happy with him. He wasn't pulling at me, but he was lobbing. He hasn't changed his legs much. He just didn't fire. I don't know. I don't know what's gone wrong.
At this stage, everyone is searching for things. Let's pick one or two. He hasn't run since July. Could it ever be a measure of unfitness?
Well, it's a possibility, of course. There's lots of possibilities of what could have gone wrong, but I am, at the moment, not in knowledge of the right answer.
Do you feel that whatever it is could be something temporary and therefore we could still see him back here for the Ark in 3 weeks' time?
Well, Brough, we don't know what's the matter, so unfortunately I can't give you an answer to that. The thing is, we'll just have to take a moment, see, ponder over it. I don't really know what's gone wrong. The horse has worked well. There was nothing wrong with him. He's travelled well. He's come here and he's lobbed in the race. The only thing he's done wrong, he hasn't picked up and gone and won the race, which he normally does do. He usually grabs the ground and goes. Today, he's just kept in the lob in action and he hasn't grabbed the ground. So he just felt like a horse that was tired. He didn't have any energy to kick home. For what reason he didn't have this, I don't know.
Willie, if, as is obviously possible, this is the last time we see him on a race course, which will be the best day for you when you look back?
The best day? Winning the Guineas. Winning the Guineas, because he was a good horse that day. And he was a good horse Derby Day as well. But he was exceptional on Guineas Day. For a horse that stayed 1.5 miles, you know, so it's a shame, but I was hoping this horse would never get beaten. I really came here thinking that he wouldn't.
First of all, the starting gate. Dejour, known for his blazing speed, you seem to get off a half step slow. True?
Well, that's him. After he's gone 3 strides, he's usually in front. In Europe, these are very fast horses. But I could have made the running if I'd wanted to, but we're going too fast as it was to get home. And then I had the race won. I was being a bit... Well, I wasn't going all out with him because he's better at 5 furlongs than 6. So I was just being a bit careful with him so as he would get to the other end. And of course I was going away the last 100 yards and he jumped.
He appeared to jump the photo finish shadow, Willie, that appears over...
If you look, there's 50 yards, 100 yards before the line. There's another shadow, and he's jumped that and lost the race there, and then he's jumped the wire after.
Had that ever happened to him before at any point in his career?
Actually, the last time he ran, he lost concentration. He won so easy, and he jumped the shadow at Longchamp. He's the best horse.
Tough luck, Willie.
Yeah, it's tough luck. We don't get the money. We've got the best.
I think he was a horse that just kept improving, you know, as the year went on. To me, when I rode him first time at Newbury, you know, he was a very nice horse, but he certainly never gave me the feel that he was going to be the sort of horse that he ended up being. And he improved throughout the year. I think he was probably at his very best on French Derby Day.
But into the straight, it's all Old Vic. Old Vic is 6 lengths in front now. On the outside, Dancehall is battling away, followed then by Galetto. But the further they go, the further Old Vic goes ahead. He's 6 lengths in front. Dancehall battling away, followed then by Galetto and Norberto. But Old Vic's going to stroll home in the Prix du Jockey Club. He wins as he likes. Old Vic, Steve Corton is first, Dancehall second, Galetto third.
And then, you know, he again ran a great race in the Irish Derby, but, you know, he had a boil on his back and this and that.
Now, and Old Vic, the leader, being tackled by Ildeniski on the near side, then observation post making ground on the inner. Zayani is next, and then Glowing Star over a furlong down, and Old Vic is the leader from Ildeniski. Observation post is running on well in second, but as they stretch inside the final furlong now, Old Vic running on strongly. Observation post coming after him. Ildeniski and third, they're clear of Zayani forward, but Old Vic is going to make it all. Not quite as impressive as at Sean T, but a splendid victory nonetheless by about 4 lengths. Observation.
You know, I think his merits speak for themselves. In France, he beat a very good field. The horse of Mr. Fobbs, that was second, beaten 7 lengths. You know, it won two Group 1s. And the third horse was another 6 lengths behind him. You know, his form when he won at Chester was quite good, although at the time I didn't realise it. When he beat the horse of Golden Pheasant of Clive Britton, who went on to be second, beating a short head in Group 1, and then went on to beat Nashwan. You know, although I admittedly Nashwan probably wasn't at his best.
Willie, what impressed you most about Nashwan?
His speed. He was a great horse to ride. His action, terrific stride on him, and he could turn it on. He was a great horse, even though he got beaten in France. He's still a great horse. He was the best horse on all the big occasions, except for the Arc de Triomphe. But he was a good horse, or a great horse, on the days it mattered.
How difficult is it for a horse to win the Guineas, the Derby, the Coal Eclipse and the King George all in the same year?
Very difficult. We need a great horse to do it. It'll be a long time before it's done again, I would think. It's never been done before, so it'll take a very good horse to better his record. It's unfortunate the horse had given so much, and he wasn't at his best at the back end of the year, when the ground just started to come a little bit softer. It is possible that he was a better horse on top of the ground, whereas Steve's horse was better when the ground had cut in the ground.
Do you think the King George perhaps took quite a lot out of him?
No.
So you
it was the Eclipse.
It was the Eclipse?
It was the Eclipse, yeah. He had a very, very hard race in the Eclipse. I gave that horse too far a lead, and I asked my horse to make it up in too short a time, and he did it. But it's hell of an effort to do so.
In your own estimation, how would you compare him against the other horses that you've ridden?
He's the best I've ever ridden, without question. Without question.
Now, the two never met, but how disappointed were you, Steve, that they didn't in fact race against each other?
I was looking forward to them clashing. You know, at one stage I thought they might clash in the King George, and it would have been very interesting, and then it looked like they might clash in the Arc, but as it turned out, because of Old Vic getting injured, you know, he got cast in his box, and then obviously when Nashwan, you know, he sort of, things came unstuck with them, it didn't happen. But there's no doubt in my mind that it would have been a very good race, and that there probably wouldn't have been very much between them. They probably would have been fairly close. I wouldn't like to say who would have won.
Would you say they would be very close, Willie?
Oh yes, they're both very good horses. We're lucky to have them. It all depends on the conditions of the race, the ground really. They wouldn't have run if it was firm. I wouldn't have run if it was too soft. That's
which is why it was so hard to get a ideal situation to run him. I mean, everybody sort of said that we were avoiding each other. We really weren't. I mean,
had to be good ground, you know, just real good.
You know, when you've got a horse that is as good as Nashwan or as good as Old Vic, you know, you don't take chances. You know, you don't run them. You try and get the conditions in your favor. Obviously, we wanted the conditions in our favor, and they wanted them in theirs. But you know, the ideal conditions would have been good ground at a decent track, and you know, it would have happened if they both had been okay. But it just didn't happen.
I think the great pleasure is that they were both ran in the same.
So everybody will be talking about it for years and years and years. But I suppose that's not all bad either.
I'll be talking about my horse in years and years to come, and I think you will too.
I hope so.
Thanks a lot. That's great. Many thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. From the wrong side.
Where's that tie? Come on, you want to find that tie for
Well, we'll
me?
just see if we can find it, Willie.
Find that tie.
It's not in that lot, I don't think. Right? It's
Yeah.
the Irish Derby, isn't it?
Yeah, the Irish Derby tie.
What about that one?
Ah, there you are. That's it. That's the Irish Derby. You won the Irish...
My ties are very precious to me. I think you'd look very smart in...
Yeah, in what? No. These are all too flamboyant for me. Too flamboyant.
What about that one? That's a Pucci tie.
Pucci?
Pucci. That's a smart tie.
And you don't have Hermes or...
Yeah, I got a lot of...
Hermes? Or
I've got a lot of Hermes.
Gucci?
The amount of money I've wasted on ties is ridiculous. Right?
No, that's a nice tie as well.
Hermes,
Gucci, Hermes.
They're there.
So you got a tie for Ascot then? You're okay?
I'm all right, I'm not going to buy any more. Well, a few of them anyway.
Pink.
Pink waistcoat.
Oh, that's a smart one.
That's a very smart one. Velvet with silk drops on it.
Yeah, black and navy blue.
There are the hearts, yeah? Being romantic.
It's not Feb. This is June 13th, not Feb.
I can't. Yeah, not February 14th.
14th.
No, but Natty likes this one. She helped me choose it.
I've seen that one. Yeah, that's you've used that.
Buttons.
Yeah, it's a very smart one.
There's one with.
Oh, that's nice. Horses' heads. That is nice.
But I probably wear a grey one most of the time and just try and not be too sort of
flamboyant.
Much of a clown.
But you wouldn't be flamboyant, will you? How many
shoes have got?
Shoes.
I don't know.
Look at all these shoes you have. You like brown suede then?
Yep. But all it glitters and goes.
The Hot Grove, the Minstrel. I thought I was home. I could see the jam stick. Oh, it was only just there. Got me. He gave it a great ride that day because I think I rode a very good race because I was on a horse who stayed the trip really well. I kicked very early, got away from the field, and he set sail after me, a bit late maybe, but he just got there. He gave it a terrific ride.
They run down into the turn now with just over 3 furlongs to run in the Derby, and it's $1 Million Man being pressed by Hot Grove. The Minstrel coming there in 3rd place. Then comes Be My Guest making progress. Behind them, Blushing Groom on the outside, unleashing a run. Behind him is Monseigneur. They're coming to the 2 furlong marker. It's Hot Grove from the Minstrel, then Blushing Groom, and Monseigneur still making rapid progress towards the stand side. But it's Hot Grove from the Minstrel and Blushing Groom. Then Monseigneur moving into 4th. They're racing into the closing stages now. And it's Hot Grove from the Minstrel, Blushing Groom and Monseigneur. 100 yards to run in the Derby. The Minstrel coming to challenge Hot Grove. And it's Lester Biggett and Willie Carson. The Minstrel on the near side, Hot Grove on the north side, and the Minstrel wins it from...
My old mate, Lester. And it's nice, everybody's so excited to see you today after all your problems. Where everybody is so excited. You're back here, 116 winners as a jockey, 1 as a trainer, and 2 as an owner. That's what I call greedy. What do you say?
Ah, terrific, isn't it?
Terrific?
Yeah. Over a long period of time.
Oh, it's a long time, yes. But you were at the top of your game every single year you came here.
Well, I don't know about that, but for a good few years, I suppose, you know. And you were always second, weren't you?
Thank you very much. I always second, he says. Yeah, well, most of the time. But would you, the Royal Meeting, what would be your highlight of the Royal Meeting? Can you remember?
It was some terrific days, but I suppose the Gold Cup...
O'Brien?
Well, the Gold Cups on Ardross and Sagaro were the...
Sagaro, 3 Gold Cups?
Were the big days,
Yeah. 8 wins for Vincent?
Yeah. And I think was it 8, probably 6 for him, you know.
Yeah.
And you rode one of them, didn't you?
Yeah. You know who that was?
Yeah.
The Sprinter.
Swing Time, wasn't it?
What?
Swing Time.
Exactly what it was.
Yeah,
Swing
right.
time. Yeah. And you told me what to do.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You must have had your money on. Huh? Anyway, everybody out there, everybody is so glad to see you after your problems. And how are you? How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, yeah I'm fine. You know. I don't think I'll be riding this week, but you know, probably the week after.
So there you have it, from down in the weighing room. Lester Piggott is going to be riding in 2 weeks' time.
Where did you find the dam?
Well, I didn't actually find it. I went through the catalogue and marked about 10 horses, 10 fillies out of training, and gave it to Ridley and Morgan Jones, because I was out of the country. And this is the one he elected on. Well, it's the price as well, of course. I gave him a price. And that's how I came across the mare. She was trained by Henry Cecil. She won one race at Redcar over 6 furlongs, so she had a bit of speed. Didn't win it 3, and I had a word with Joe Mercer about her. And quite happy about her, you know, having a Crapello mare.
Well, she only won over 6, as you say, but certainly Minstrel Sun's a good stayer. Has the dam produced other decent stayers?
Yes, actually the full brother to Minstrel Sun, who went to Italy, called Gianchi. He actually, I rode him myself and finished 4th in the Italian Derby. And I believe he broke down in the race where he would have done a little bit better, and he never ran again. He's actually a premium or something stallion in Ireland now.
And you've still got Honeybridge at home?
I've got Honeybridge at home. Unfortunately, Honeybridge is on her own, because she hasn't been in full the last 2 seasons. Very unfortunate. She seems to have cysts or something, and hopefully we'll have to give her a bit of doctrine and get her in full next year.
But have you a yearling?
I have a yearling going up to the autumn sales at Newmarket by Goritis. A very nice colt. I like him. He's an athlete, the same as Mr. Sun. You know, a good mover, good fluid mover.
Willie Carson, effervescent, enthusiastic, unpredictable.
Willie liked to be in control. Even when he had his airplane, he wanted to fly the thing. He wasn't happy sitting next to the pilot.
Great talent. I mean, a wonderful, wonderful rider. Great strength, perfect size for a jockey. And when he was pushing away, the rhythm he got out of his horses was extraordinary.
It's a long way from when I first started, when I still first thought of being a jockey, which was at the Allen Park Cinema when I was, I think I was 11 years of age, and I saw this movie, The Rainbow Jacket. It was about an apprentice becoming a jockey, and I went, that's me. And from that day on, from the age of 11, I was always going to be a jockey.
Willie deserves recognition on this scale because he was simply an outstanding jockey, and his peak went on for 3 decades. He was a model of consistency for getting a century a season. That came as like second nature to Willie. You can always rely on him to get a century. And I think he did it about 25 years in succession, which is quite incredible, really, isn't it, when you think about it?
Life at Wish as they come out towards the line. It's Willie Carson who wins the Derby on Troy. Dickens Hill is second. Then comes Northern Baby.
He had a way of doing it, and he would kind of, and you would think he would be, when you watch him in a race, you think, I can get him now, he's flat out. But he was never flat out. He always had more in the tank. He lulled a lot of jockeys into a position that they didn't take him on too soon because they thought he hasn't got much left. But that was wrong. Willie had plenty left, and he did that, and that's the way he rode.
Dunfermline in 1977, Jubilee Week, and winning the Epsom Oaks for her that week was a very, very, very special occasion. Dunfermline winning the Oaks for Her Majesty. Then there's the Derby Airhab, where I never left the fence and just screamed at jockeys to let me go, and it came from way out of the clouds. I would regard that Erhab's Derby as one of my greatest rides, you know, of course because it's the Derby and because of the way I rode the horse.
Come from a mile back, he's grabbed the lead, a great Derby winner. Erhard wins at a length to King's Theatre, third then is Pencader.
He has a wonderfully disarming natural charm, and I think that bursts through the television screen, and very few people have that combination of expertise. Like if Willie Carson is going to dissect your ride in the Derby, you'll take it. He's Willie Carson. He won the Derby 4 times. He was champion jockey 5 times. He won 17 classics. You know, he knows what he's on about. But he was also so funny about things, and I think viewers really responded to that. They really loved him.
Yes, well, I've done a few things in my life, but being awarded into the Hall of Fame is, well, it's one of the big things, really. It is a real big thing to be invited in there.